Hey there. In Change Coach conversation number 7, I want to talk about having clients who are eager to work with you, clients who can't wait to work with you. So I'm talking about rather than us going out and talking about what we do and how we can help and all of that, which happens and that's totally fine. I'm talking about when they come to you. When they come to you and they say, "Are you taking on new clients? Please, when can you fit me in? Here is my money. Please take my money and give me what you have. Give me your service." Now, this might sound like fantasy land, too good to be true. That doesn't really happen, but it totally happens and it's absolutely achievable for any coach. Think about in your life a time when you have felt like that towards someone. Maybe it was a coach, maybe it was someone who could help you, a doctor, a massage therapist, a hairstylist, someone to do some work on your home. Whatever it is, it's not uncommon at all. There's a lot of times when we're like, "Hey, please, can you fit me in? I would do anything to work with you." And it's amazing when this starts to happen for us as coaches. So, how does this happen? Well, people don't tend to do that with strangers, first of all. So, they have to know you in some way, but not just knowing you. Ultimately, what has to happen is they have to know that you can help them. And once they know that you can help them, they want that more than anything. It will be the easiest transaction ever. And they will come to you saying, "I'm in, I'm all in. Let's get this started." So, how do we help clients see that we can help them? Well, in a few different ways. And again, these different ways are really incredibly simple. We have to tell stories. I think the best way of doing this is telling stories about change that we've seen. Once you've had some clients, talking about your clients' change stories. Now, you don't have to do this by sharing their information or details. You've worked with enough people at a certain point where you can kind of put your clients together and tell a story about how it's gone, or tell someone's story without all the personal details in their name, to really show, "Hey, this is how this goes. And by the way, it wasn't just Mary or Bob that achieved that. You can achieve this too. You can have that kind of change." So stories, however we do that, stories that we tell on video, verbally, when we're talking with people on the phone or through Zoom, when you're having just conversations with prospective clients, stories that we tell in writing. There's so many ways to tell stories. And I think that is absolutely the best way, because people can start to see themselves in the place of the person you're telling the story about. They can visualize it. They can imagine how that could happen for them. And they will want that. And they will say, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm in. Let's do this." When they can see themselves in a story like that. Another way of doing this, maybe before you have clients. So if you're brand new at this, you don't have a bunch of case studies, you don't have a bunch of client stories to tell yet, is to tell your own story. That I would recommend the whole way through. Tell your own story. Share your insights, what you've seen about things, but also just share how these issues look to you. So if you're helping people with habits or anxiety or relationship issues or work issues or leadership or whatever you're coaching around, and it could be all of those things, talk about how you view those issues. Here's the thing I've seen that really makes a difference in leadership, in business success, in relationships. And again, however you do that, when you're one-on-one talking with someone, a prospective client, or you're just chatting with someone, talk about these things. Help people see, "Oh, there's a new way to see this that I hadn't thought of." Do it on video, do it in writing all the time. Now, if you look at my business, you will see me do these two things all the time. Telling client stories. I'm always trying to tell a story, and I have lots at this point, lots of stories I could tell. And again, I'm not always telling it with detail. Usually I'm not telling it with details, but I make up names and I just give the arc of the story of how it went so that people can visualize that and really sense it for themselves. Sometimes I'm having conversations with clients, right? Or we're getting testimonials or case studies from them, and they're telling it in their own words, which is also amazing. So telling stories for sure. I do it in writing, I do it on video, and also just talking about how I see things. I do an Ask Amy video every single week and have for 5 years. And that's a really great example because it's like someone sends a question and people are watching this and listening, right? And they're like, "Oh, that's a good question. I wonder how that looks to her. I wonder what she's going to say about that." And then I get to speak to it. So, little by little, it's showing them how I view things and how I would help them if we were to work together. And then they can start to see that for themselves and they start to see, "Oh, yeah, that helped me over here. That Ask Amy question helped me." Or if I was in that situation, wow, that's a new way of seeing it. And it, in some way, it just helps them see, yeah, I'm in. I want this. I believe that it can work for me. Because honestly, that's probably the biggest obstacle that anyone has. It's not a lack of money, no matter what they tell you, most of the time. Of course, sometimes it is. It's not a lack of time. It's not that they're not sure about coaching. It's none of that stuff. It always comes back to, I don't know if this could work for me. If someone's struggling or suffering with anything and they're confident that what you have can work for them, will help them, they're in. Like, I can't say it enough. It's the clearest thing in the world. So that is our job, is to help them see that we can help. And again, we do that through stories and through just speaking to issues so that they start to see this themselves. Now, when you're sharing, you know, on social media or in videos and things like that, a lot of new coaches tend to focus a little bit more on what they offer. So I have this great coaching package. I'm doing a live event next month in your town. They'll really kind of talk about that. And if you think about it, that's just the package. Like, that's just the delivery method. No one gets that excited about the delivery method. No one really cares that you're going to give them 4 90-minute Zoom sessions in a month for X dollars. Like, you need that down the road. Once they're in, they're going to need those details. But that is never what sells somebody. Even you coming to their town and doing a live event, why would they leave their house for that if they're not sure that they like you and know you and that you can help them? So those are details. Especially on social media too, a lot of coaches just talk about, they'll share personal things, and that's great. Again, the details, the logistics of how you work with people, some stuff about your personal life, if that feels right to you, to help people know you. That's like the salt and pepper, that just kind of adds to it. But what it always comes down to is anything we can do to tell a story or talk about how we see things so that that person listening sees, yeah, he or she can absolutely help me. When you've done that, people will be coming to you without question. So I hope this is helpful. If you want some support, talking about what you do, being able to do what you do, first of all, that is super impactful. And then being able to talk about it so that clients come to you, please check out our Change Coach training and certification program starting in January. It's an amazing program that involves business support and business help and really, really focuses on making you an amazing coach that people tell their friends about and just can't wait to talk about.